witches. So today I just wanted to come on and talk about just sort of some tidbits of magic. Some ideas just to help you get your magical mindset and juices flowing. So hopefully this will be that type of video for you. So there's two different things I want to mention for this video. Once again, this is just to give you some ideas to go with or whatever, what have you. Recently, I was thinking about sort of like getting out in nature and doing magic outside and stuff again, since it is becoming like more tolerable temperature wise outside here in Texas, now that fall has really hit. I'm definitely going to be going out to the woods more and stuff like that, and to the cemetery more often and things like that, just being outside more in general. And so with that in mind, I had an idea of excuse me. I had an idea of using trees for magic and for rituals. So what my idea is to carve your sigils into a tree to sort of bind the sigils like life force and power force to the life force of the tree, because trees are very magical and powerful. I don't know if you just heard the ceiling pop, but they're very powerful, especially just like a big tree is like hundreds of years old, and so they're very ancient. They have longevity to them. And so in that sense and along that line, I was thinking if you carve a sigil into a tree, you're sort of binding it to that force of longevity and that life force and sturdiness and solidness of the tree that you're carving the sigil into. So that was something I wanted to share with you all. I'm definitely going to be trying it this year once I get out to the woods. But another aspect of this is you can do this on a certain type of tree to align with the influence that you want. You could easily look up the different types of trees and their magical properties and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go over that here. This is just about the idea itself, but you could easily look up the different trees and their magical properties to, if you want to go down that route, find out which tree energy aligns with your intention for the sigil. Another idea that I had with this, if you don't feel comfortable carving into a tree, I know some people would be against that. Instead of doing that, you could make like a charm bag or something like that and tie it to a tree branch. Of course, if you want to do this, you're going to have to make sure that it will not fall off due to weathering or anything like that, or be discovered by someone. So if you do this, I would choose like a tree that's deep in the woods and probably like try to tie it really high up on a branch where it won't be noticed by anyone easily. But that's another idea, that you could also still bind it to the life force of the tree without carving into the tree itself. However, I do think it would be more potent if you did carve it into the tree itself, because then it's like really becoming part of the tree's body. And it's interesting, if you ever have seen a tree where someone has carved in it before, like, you know how the stereotypical, you know, movies where someone carves their initials in a tree with their partner and things like that. It's really interesting to see how it ages with the tree, because it's carved directly on the living flesh, essentially, of the tree. It's like a tattoo or something. So I just think that that's interesting, but I also think it's more potent because it is directly in contact with the life force of the tree itself. However, I do think that tying things, satchels and spell bags onto a tree branch or something would be just as powerful, or just as effective, I should say. It just probably won't last as long because we do have weathering. So eventually, whatever you tie to the tree will fall apart and degrade. But if you're carving it directly on the tree, it will be very permanent. So another note to this is, you know, think about it. Do you want your magic that you're doing with this technique to be permanent? Because if you carve it on the tree, it will be permanent. There will be no way to undo it, unless the tree dies or something. But so that might be something to consider. If you don't want it to be permanent, if you want it to eventually stop, you might just want to tie something to the tree, like a charm bag or something. Another idea that I had though with this is not only putting the charm bag or carving the sigil into the tree, but also take like a piece of bark or a twig or a small piece of branch or something, and keeping that with you as like a talisman. I have seen someone wire wrap a piece of bark before and turn it into a necklace, and I thought that was really interesting and pretty. So having seen that before, and now with this new idea that I had, I was thinking that would be really cool as well. If you carved a sigil into a tree and then you took a piece of the bark and made it into a necklace or something for yourself to wear, to like really facilitate that link with the energy of the sigil that you've created with the life force of the tree. So that's just another idea as well. And one final thing with this is the location of where you're doing this. I think it would be a really cool and interesting thing if you have like a special place in nature that you go to do your magic, or to meditate, or to leave offerings, or connect with your spirits, whatever it is. If you carved a sigil into a tree in that area, I feel like it would be a really nice way to like mark that place of power, or to mark the significance of, like, say that you go to this place to connect with the deity. If you carved a sigil of that deity in a tree there, I feel like it would bring and further amplify and anchor the energies, because of the aspect of the tree being alive and the longevity of it and its ancientness. I feel like that would amplify the power of the place of power and of your intention there as well. So that was something else that came to mind as well. Also, the trees that are in your yard of your home, if you have any, you could carve protection sigils to protect your property. This is something I've never really ever seen mentioned as far as people discussing protection magic and home protections. this would be a really good and sort of different and unique way to do it. Carve a protection sigil in the different trees around your property, and that could be another level and really potent layer of protection that you would have going as well. So those are sort of the ideas, and by all means, use this as you will, adapt it. This is not an exhaustive list of the ways that you could use this. So if you have any ideas or insights or inspirations based on my idea, please leave that in the comments below for others to read as well, because, we want to get those creative, magical energies stirred in each other, because there's never a limit to it, and there's no telling what ideas and insights and inspirations will stir in each other with our own ideas. So just leave that below in the comments if you have any ideas or insights or anything on the subject or on this topic. But that's basically all I wanted to share as far as that goes. Now, another little thing that I wanted to share was another idea that I had. I have been researching remote viewing recently. Well, I've been ongoing researching it over the years, but I've been researching it again recently, and wanting to get into it and start practicing it. So if you don't know what remote viewing is, you can look that up easily. There's plenty of YouTube videos on it. I recommend you go look at the YouTube channel New Thinking Aloud. Look at that YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos on remote viewing, interviews and stuff with remote viewing experts. But one of the practices in remote viewing to sort of test it and just practice it in general is to take like unknown images, put them in an envelope, and then test someone, if they can sense or discern what the image is, or what it could also be something written, like whatever unknown information is placed in the envelope, unknown to the one who's doing the remote viewing. And then the person who's doing the remote viewing tries to figure it out by using their psychic senses. So you can do this with a partner, preferably. You can do it with a partner or with several partners, where they will choose, images from a magazine or from the internet or whatever, unbeknownst to you. And they could just place it face down on a table or something, or put it in an envelope, whatever, but as long as you do not see it prior to the session. And then you will sit there and use like a notebook or something and just start to write down what comes to your mind. And you don't really need to immediately try to guess what it is, but it's better to just write the bits and streams of information that come to your mind about it. And then after you have like a long compiled list, then you will try to discern, what is this describing? And then of course, after the end of this session, look at the image and see and compare, how accurate you were and stuff like that. And the more that you practice this, the more this ability will develop. And you can use this ability to, do a lot of different things, to check on, loved ones and relatives and friends and things like that. You could possibly even use this to spy on people. And just gather information. It's just another way to develop your psychic abilities in general. So I just thought that I would come on here and share that as well. But you can also practice this alone. And so the method I came up with to practice this alone is get a bunch of magazines that you have not looked at before. I think it's more important if you've never looked through the magazine, but you could use this with magazines that you've looked at if they're like old and you don't really remember what's in it. But preferably, use magazines or, old newspapers or catalogs or just something like that you've never seen before or looked through before. And with your eyes closed, flip through it and just tear out a random page or several different random pages. And then without looking at that image, like either do this whole process with your eyes closed or tear it out and then immediately turn it over and set it to the side without looking at the front part. And proceed to like fold the paper up, stick it in an envelope, and make like several envelopes with these single pages in it. Then you can sit down and do your sessions. Choose one of the envelopes at random with the random image in it or the random page. Once again, it doesn't have to be an image. It could just be, an article or something. But either way, sort of the randomness of choosing the magazine page at random, not knowing if it's an image, like an advertisement covering the whole page, or if it's an article, or if it's like something else, I think it adds to helping you develop these abilities. And it adds to it being something totally random, like you won't even know if it's an image or if it's like a written article or something. So when you sit down to do the session, you are like completely blind going into it. And then sit there and once again try to discern what it is. I do think it is helpful to have a notebook where you can write down whatever information is coming into you and just go with that. A lot of times it's just better to do your psychic information gathering in that way. Sort of just sit there and close your eyes, meditate, and just see what information comes to you. And then it's like following a line of consciousness or a line of reasoning or whatever you want to call it. But you take the little bit of first information that you get and then you just start following that trail and more information floods in. I have noticed, or at least that's how it works for me. And just continue to write it all down. And then at the end, you can time this to be like 20 minutes or whatever, or you can just do this at your leisure. But once you feel that you've reached the end, or once you reach the end of your time limit, take that information that you have gathered and try to figure out, okay, what is this? And then write down your guess as well. And then, of course, open the envelope, look at the page of the magazine and see, what is it and how it compares. So that was something that I came up with as well recently, and I wanted to share with you all to, just put that out there if you want to develop this. And that's basically all I wanted to share with this. So like I said, this is just a sort of jumbled video, just sharing some things that I've been thinking about recently and wanted to put out there. Once again, if you have any comments or insights or ideas yourself on any of this, please leave that down below in the comment section. I will definitely be reading through the comments, and I know a lot of other people will too. So if you have anything to share or contribute, please leave that below as well. But that's basically all for this video. Just wanted to put that out there. Now, as a final little closing to this video, I am still currently doing my Facebook teaching group. If you would like to become a member of that and learn, more stuff like this or more advanced stuff that I don't share publicly, get in contact with me through the methods below in the description box. It's $200 to join my teaching group, because you will get immediate access to several hours of video lessons and content when you first join. And if you would like to be part of that, I do have a screening process where I ask you some questions before I just allow anyone to join it. But if I approve of you, it is a $200 fee. And it's a $25 monthly subscription fee as well, because I continue to post new content each month going forward. So if that's something you're interested in, get in contact with me. As well, if you would like any custom spell work or custom tarot readings, contact me through the methods below in the description box. But that's basically it. My prices will be going up at the end of this year as well. I already mentioned this before, but my prices will be going up. So, the next couple months is like your last chance to book my spell work and tarot readings for the current prices, or to join my teaching group for $200. After December, the price will be going up substantially. So if you want to join for $200, get in contact with me before the price change. But that's going to be all for this video. Hopefully this information is helpful. Hopefully you will put some of this into practice and, develop your magic more. As always, thanks for watching. Hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be. I'll see you guys on the next video.